In the early hours of January 3, 2026, the world was jolted awake by a stunning announcement. Former President Donald Trump on Truth Social declared a major American military victory: the capture of Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro and his wife, Celia Flores. The message was clear: this was not an act of war, but a law enforcement operation. Trump announced that the United States would temporarily govern Venezuela to ensure a stable transition of power. He outlined plans to repair Venezuela's oil infrastructure and restart exports. Secretary of State Marco Rubio reinforced the narrative, calling the operation a last resort after Maduro rejected multiple peaceful exit offers. The administration framed the mission as a fight against narco-terrorism, sidestepping the need for congressional approval. The legal justification was crucial for both domestic and international audiences. By breaking the news himself, Trump controlled the narrative from the outset. The world now faced the reality of a sovereign leader removed by foreign force, under the banner of international law enforcement. The day had just begun, but the global order had already shifted. The announcement was a masterclass in narrative control. The framing was deliberate, designed to justify the operation and preempt criticism. The stage was set for a new, controversial chapter in international relations. The raid was the result of months of secret planning, not a sudden decision. Operation Absolute Resolve involved high-level coordination between the White House, Pentagon, and intelligence agencies since summer 2025. The mission's goal: capture Maduro with overwhelming force and minimal casualties. Trump approved the operation just before Christmas, but military leaders delayed for optimal weather. Clear skies were essential for drones and surveillance aircraft to provide real-time intelligence. The U.S. had been increasing its military presence in the Caribbean, conducting smaller operations as cover for the buildup. These actions softened the target and gathered intelligence for the main event. The operation relied on a 2020 narco-terrorism indictment, framing the mission as an arrest to bypass the War Powers Act. The legal strategy was as meticulous as the military one, shielding the administration from criticism. Every detail was designed to justify the action on the world stage. The plan was not just to capture Maduro, but to do so in a defensible way. Months of preparation ensured the operation would be swift and overwhelming. The administration anticipated backlash and built their case in advance. The groundwork was laid for a mission that would change history. Operation Absolute Resolve hinged on precise, real-time intelligence from the CIA. Since August 2025, a clandestine CIA team operated inside Venezuela, tracking Maduro's routines and security. Their most valuable asset, a source deep within Maduro's inner circle, able to confirm his exact location. This intelligence was the foundation of the military plan. The CIA team mapped out Maduro's residences, tracked his convoys, and monitored communications. Every detail was relayed to planners, refining the assault and ensuring surprise. The final confirmation from the CIA asset triggered the operation. The team's work continued until the helicopters lifted off, confirming Maduro was at Fuerte Tiuna base. Any last-minute change could have aborted the mission. The months of dangerous intelligence work paid off, setting the stage for the assault. The operation's success depended on the courage and reliability of a single source. The CIA's efforts ensured the Delta Force would strike at the right place and time. The Shadow Team's work was the invisible backbone of the mission. To maximize success, U.S. troops trained in a full-scale replica of Maduro's safe house, built in a secret U.S. location. Using satellite imagery and CIA intelligence, every detail was recreated: walls, doors, furniture. Delta Force rehearsed the raid for weeks, practicing entry and room clearing in darkness. Each operator memorized the layout, knowing the fastest routes and potential threats. Training included scenarios with unexpected resistance and civilian presence. The goal: make every movement second nature, minimizing time on target. The rehearsals built confidence and muscle memory, ensuring flawless execution. The team trained with the exact weapons and gear they'd use in Venezuela. This meticulous preparation meant the soldiers would not face surprises. When the real raid began, they had already been there countless times. At 1:01 a.m. local time, Operation Absolute Resolve began, not with gunfire, but with electronic warfare. U.S. forces plunged Caracas into darkness, disabling the power grid and Venezuela's air defenses. Over 150 American aircraft, including B-1 bombers, stealth helicopters, and drones, moved in undetected. The goal: paralyze Venezuelan command and create a corridor for the assault team. Delta Force and the FBI hostage rescue team flew low and fast toward Fuerte Tiuna base. The main assault targeted Maduro's residence for maximum speed and surprise. The plan finished the ground operation in under 30 minutes, avoiding a prolonged firefight. Other units secured the perimeter, engaging any Venezuelan forces that responded. One U.S. helicopter took ground fire but remained operational. The overwhelming force and surprise scattered resistance. Months of planning and intelligence came together in a swift, decisive action. The operation unfolded almost exactly as rehearsed. The technological edge and preparation paid off. The raid was a display of modern military precision. The mission's success was nearly total before dawn broke. As helicopters landed at Fuerte Tiuna, Delta Force stormed Maduro's residence. Explosive charges breached the doors, masked by the blackout and chaos outside. The operators moved with practiced speed, heading straight for the master bedroom. Maduro and Cilia Flores, startled but unharmed, surrendered without resistance. The capture was swift and anticlimactic. No firefight, no standoff. The couple was secured and prepared for extraction. The entire operation at the house lasted well under 30 minutes. Other U.S. units kept Venezuelan forces at bay, ensuring a clean exit. A few U.S. troops were injured, but there were no fatalities. The mission achieved its objective with remarkable efficiency. Maduro and his wife were escorted to waiting helicopters. As they lifted off, Venezuela's government was left leaderless and in chaos. The daring raid was over, but the political fallout was just beginning. With Maduro and Flores in custody, their journey to the U.S. justice system began. They were flown from Caracas to the USS Iwo Jima, a U.S. Navy ship in the Caribbean. This transfer to international waters was both legal and symbolic, marking the shift from battlefield to U.S. custody. From the ship, they boarded a military transport to Stewart Air National Guard Base in New York. Their arrival was kept secret until they were securely on U.S. soil. The transition from military capture to civilian legal process was now complete. The couple was taken to the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn. The Justice Department unsealed a new indictment, charging Maduro, Flores, and others with narco-terrorism and drug trafficking. The charges painted a picture of a government run as a criminal enterprise. Maduro, once a president, was now an inmate awaiting trial in a foreign land. His journey from palace to prison was complete. Caracas erupted in confusion and division as news of Maduro's capture spread. In opposition strongholds, people celebrated what they saw as liberation. Elsewhere, anger and protests broke out, with many denouncing the U.S. action as imperialism. The country's deep political polarization was laid bare. The remaining government was thrown into chaos. Vice President Rodriguez refused to assume power, creating a vacuum. The defense minister declared a state of emergency, urging military loyalty. Opposition leaders praised the U.S. action as a step toward democracy. The nation was left without clear leadership, torn between hope and outrage. Venezuela faced an uncertain future, its government in crisis. The world's response was swift and overwhelmingly negative. The UN and major powers condemned the raid as a violation of sovereignty. Russia and China denounced it as illegal. U.S. allies expressed concern about unilateral action. Across Latin America, governments warned of a return to U.S. military interventionism. The UN Security Council called an emergency meeting. In the U.S., Congress erupted in bipartisan outrage over the lack of consultation. Lawmakers argued the operation was an unauthorized act of war, not law enforcement. The daring capture of Maduro left deep divisions at home and abroad, raising questions about the limits of American power and the future of international law.